Wow, what a video. I just want to start by saying this video gets into some pretty heavy topics, including doxing, sexual assault allegations, grooming minors, and much worse. So fair warning. As I began my deep dive into pirate software, there are things that I uncovered that I couldn't have even imagined I would be making a video about. Things that taught me more about him than I ever needed to know. I'm going to go over his credentials a little bit, but if you want to skip to the juicy stuff, you can click on this timestamp here. But I do want to establish a fact pattern to reinforce some of the later, more serious allegations. So in case you didn't know...
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but I worked at Blizzard Entertainment. It's a cold world out there, folks, and it's only getting colder.
So I feel like it's pretty common knowledge at this point that he was just like a nepotism hire. I mean, his dad was one of the first 10 employees at Blizzard Entertainment. He worked as a defensive security specialist. However, I want to point out there's no evidence he did any coding or game developing. So citing his time at Blizzard when he's talking about everything from coding to fucking game developing to marketing is misleading, if not an outright manipulative lie. And I say manipulative lie because this is a part of a larger pathology. He's not some soy gamer nerd with a cringe, nerdy voice. He's a cool hacker guy, you know? It's this projection of being a cool professional with 7 years at Blizzard, a hacker with a deep voice who is not just some soy kid who likes to stream on Twitch. And it's fine, you could be a soy kid who likes to stream on Twitch, but like projecting this image that you're some like cool pseudo expert on everything and that you know about social engineering and that you're a hacker or whatever is just stupid. But there's very much intentionality behind it. There's a reason that he acts this way, and it's to get away from his past. There's a certain image he likes to project to get credibility, and through that credibility he wants to gain followers, and he wants to use those followers as a weapon. This pattern dates all the way back to 2007. He's intentionally curated this character to get away from this, and that, and much more.
So, to talk a little bit more about him playing this character and a little bit more of him feeding into it, we have these DEF CON badges, right? And these were given to everyone on teams. So, it doesn't actually go to any individual person. So, Thor claims, I got these badges. It went to me. But in reality, it went to these teams, right? So you have a bunch of teams of people here. Now, he just happened to be a part of a couple of these teams. So one team consisted of 12 people, and one consisted of 21 people. So that does not equal, let's put a little line in there, no. Circle around that, that's a little line. We'll put a line through that. He, over here, did not win a DEF CON badge.
So I alluded that he was running away from something with all this, and what was he running away from? Despite the jokey nature of that intro, and I do like to keep it a little lighthearted, we're going to be going into some pretty serious topics here. Pirate software used to go by the alias Moldavius Fig Tree. This is his earliest confirmed online presence. He's got a pattern of striking down anyone who uses this name, so if you see that my channel's gone, that's why. Feel free to subscribe to my other channel, it'll be in the description, youtube.com/@lackingxl. Under this alias, Pirate Software was very active in the Second Life/furry community. Second Life is basically just a social game where people can own plots of land, make avatars, and code stuff, do a little ERP. It's basically Roblox and VR chat with more of an emphasis on middle-aged women who spend too much time online.
You know what, you little cocksucker? You want to threaten me again? Huh? I'm right here, you little shit. Threaten me now, fucker.
Now, despite being called Second Life, people treat it as their first life. You can literally hear people shutting their kids up in the background while they're crying just so they can be with their fake kids and their fake family. And he was known for many things in this community, most prominent of which was harassing users and turning them against each other to take their communities over, as well as scamming a 16-year-old girl out of money and then reporting her for being underage, despite knowing that at the time that she was making sexually charged avatars for him. Part of the claim is he fired her because she wasn't working, which which would lead me to believe that the underage thing wasn't that much of a problem for him, but we'll go over those logs later. He also has a shop where you can see his over 100 fursuits for sale in-game, as well as a replica of his ferret fursona. Now, there's a lot of things I didn't need to know about his romantic and sexual life, and I'm not here to shame him over that, and we'll leave it at that. But despite trying to scrub his entire fursona off the internet, including taking down his wiki fur page, traces still linger. In an attempt to run away from his tarnished reputation and past, he's abused report and DMCA functions like EDP abuses cupcakes. Now, coming from a guy named Pirate Software, it's a bit ironic. Now, the first incident dates all the way back to 2007 to the Woodbury University region, which was removed by admins of Second Life after Pirate Software completely trashed the realm. So I think trolling, griefing, all that's fun, it's cool. Griefing's a little iffy, trolling's great. But the problem is when you are basically destroying a piece of history, a historical landmark that is being engraved in virtual form, it's like graffitiing Wikipedia articles. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I do think some things are pertinent. So I'm not going to read all of this because I don't think all of it is pertinent, but the gist of it is that basically he took over the Woodbury University with his group and used it to plan raids and grief the entire thing. Now, it was so bad that Linden Labs had to completely delete the realm. Here, the real-life Woodbury University has been barred from having any official representation in Second Life since July of 2007, when the original Woodbury University region was first trashed by Intliber, Brodigan employee, Maldavius Figtree, and then completely destroyed less than a week later by Linden Lab itself. Linden Lab deleted the region and most of its users due to its use of a headquarters for planning and executing grid raids by now inactive griefing groups known as Patriotic Nigrus. So yeah, I'd say pretty shitty. The first thing that you do as a notable member of the community is trash essentially what is historical preservation. And you want to know the reason he did it? He did it because he was kicked off the project. But it doesn't stop there. And I'll just go ahead and read this. Maldavius Figtree, notorious for having destroyed builds in the Woodbury University sim last summer, is in the news again this week after controversial firing of avatar designer Wingless Amodo. According to reliable sources, Figtree held a suspiciously timed staff meeting last Friday morning, a meeting timed for when Wingless Amodo would be asleep and therefore unable to attend. During this meeting, it was determined that the talented avatar creator Amodo was earning too much and should therefore be removed from staff. The terms of service for Figtree's company, Darksphere Creations, were then conveniently changed and Miss Amodo was removed from her position, all before she awoke to the news. So Mr. I pay for my mods, I give them healthcare. A little bit suspicious there. She was also accused of sitting on her ass, despite the fact that she was unable to work for a short period of time due to technical malfunctions. Her remaining avatars and creations continued to sell well throughout this period, generating significant real-life money for the company. Now that Wingless is gone, Maldavius Figtree is continuing to sell her avatars and refuses to return her creations and has ceased paying her commission that they had agreed upon. And you could actually see a bunch of fanboys defending him because he is used to running this kind of cult, okay? This goes all the way back to 2007. He knows how to lie and manipulate and create a fiercely loyal fan base and use it in his favor, whether that's to attack people or defend him. But unlucky for him, we have the logs. Now, keep in mind this girl is underage, and this whole conversation is about her not producing enough sexually explicit avatars. She says, I made a druid named Peniscock. Maldavius says, cool, I ran the company while you sat on your ass. Wingless says, keep up the good work then, I intend to continue sitting on my ass. I'm far too cheap to buy a new tablet right now, so that would be referring to the technical issues she was having. Maldavius says, you're an ass, you really are, you don't give a shit about this anymore, do you? You realize everyone else in the company is telling me just to drop your ass right now, even Greiler. Now, the veracity of these claims is suspect at best, given his track record at lying. But Wingless says, did I really in the first place? Money is nice and all, but mostly I build because I like doing it. So keep in mind, this is the conversation for why he fired her. She was having problems with a tablet, and she couldn't afford to replace it. You know, with all the money he was making, he probably could have bought it for her, especially considering she was underage at the time, so this was likely her only source of income. While Mr. Pirate Software was raking in most of the money as a 21-year-old making snide comments about how she's not working enough when she's having technical issues, which I'd say she's handling very maturely, by the way, for the most part, considering her age. But the other thing to note is this conversation is insane, considering the fact that she worked solely on commission. It wasn't like he was draining away money, paying her a salary, or paying her by the hour or anything like that. She was literally only getting paid for the things she already made and got sold, which Pirate Software takes a cut cut of. But the even more funny thing is that these are the logs he leaked. Now let's get into the other logs that were leaked that he had no say in. Keep in mind, up to this point, he did not reveal she was underage. This is a conversation he had in a group chat. I don't know why he didn't expect this to be leaked. Moldavia's Fig Tree, aka Pirate Software, says, I fired her. She didn't work for 2 months, missed meetings because she was playing WoW and are too lazy to come, and then freaked out when I said I would be paying her on Fridays instead of point of sale due to tax complications, since I have to report all this income for taxes. That reasoning doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, against my better judgment. Alex says she got in one little fight and her mom got scared and said, you're moving in with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air. Moldavius posts those logs, like a small snippet of that conversation, which is completely out of context, as you can see by the logs we read, with her reasoning given. Then Moldavius says, things like this is why she's gone. Another user chimes in, dang, business is gangsta at Darksphere. Moldavius says, read what I just put up, Risfin? I don't know the fuck he's talking about, alright? She's also underage, so I've reported her. I know this because I met her IRL. She lives 2 hours from me, so that's what happened. So let's just put this into perspective. He runs a business called Darksphere where he's making sexually charged avatars, or rather, he is getting other people to make the avatars for him, and then he's selling it on their behalf, taking a cut of it, and then arguing with them when they're not working enough. And in this business, he employed someone he knew was underage, withheld money from her after she was fired, yet he still continued to sell her avatars, and then apparently at some point he met her in real life. Now the graffiti thing, he's young, he was 21 at the time, okay, fuck it, you know. I would be able to look past that if he'd shown any signs of changing his behavior, but it seems like he's doing the exact same things he was back then today, but this is just weird. I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, obviously you shouldn't have a minor making sexually explicit avatars for you. You shouldn't be scamming them. But the meeting her in real life really just doesn't sit right with me. And I can't say anything happened, but man, why? Why the fuck? Why would you do that? Now, this blew up a little bit on 4chan a couple years later, so we made a response to this, but he didn't really address anything substantive, like the fact that she was making sexual avatars. But what he did do is completely lie about the fact that he fired her in this excerpt here, which is just blatantly false given the other logs we have. Not to mention the fact that he says he reported her afterwards, despite knowing she was underage before, and only seemingly reported her out of the fact that he was mad that she didn't work enough, which is just bottom of the barrel scumbag behavior. Either it's okay for her to be there, or it's not okay for her to be there because she's underage, in which case, why are you using her as a worker knowing she's underage and only reporting her after the fact? And then he tries to pretend that she was 17 instead of 16, and that he was 19 instead of 21, even though we know that's not true. And then he said, we made up, which doesn't mean anything. I would never look to a victim to see if what the person did to them is okay. There are plenty of women who, even on the extreme ends, have been sexually assaulted who would say, oh no, it's okay, it's fine, we made up. That doesn't make what he did okay. And also, just want to point out, where's the money, Thor? Okay, you're making big streaming bucks now. Where's the money? I want hashtag where's the money trending on Twitter, okay? Where's the money, Thor? Speaking of his pattern of scamming people, let's get into... So if you don't know, Pirate Software, Mr. Moldavia's Fig Tree, is developing a game called Heartbound, and developing is putting it quite generously. The game was put up on Steam Greenlight somewhere around November 2016, and it had a release date set for 2017. And if you don't know, Steam Greenlight was basically a system that was implemented for a sort of quality control, community quality control for Valve on the Steam Marketplace. So basically, a certain amount of community members had to greenlight the project for it to go up on Steam. It reached that goal in December of 2016, and then on February 2017, Pirate Software decided to do a Kickstarter fundraiser for Heartbound with a release date set for December of 2017. Speaking of more deceptive practices from Pirate Software, they put the funding goal at $5,000 because he knew the money would be raised in 24 hours and a bunch of news sites would pick it up. So the fundraiser ended on March 26th of 2017, and if you pledged $10 or more, you got a digital download of the game, which again was set for December 2017. On November 1st, 2017, 2017, it got pushed back. On February 6th of 2018, the wording was changed from "we are hoping to fully finish and release Heartbound by early to mid 2018" to "we are hoping to fully finish and release Heartbound in 2018. Then on October 25th, the wording again changed to "Heartbound is launching into early access on Steam in 2018. And it did eventually release, quote unquote, into early access. And that was on December 25th, 2018. So a full year after they were promised the release of the game, they got a partial release of the game into early access. And then in 2019, they just completely removed the question of when the game will be released from the FAQ. So not very transparent, kind of like, I don't want to say scamming, but people were promised a full game in December of 2017, and it's now in 2019, and they just removed that from the FAQ of when it was going to release. But again, hashtag where's the money? Because he raised, at least from this screenshot that I found, and it might have even gone up to more, he raised almost $20,000 for this shitty game. This RPG Maker ass game. Where'd the money go, bro? You're supposed to be this expert hacker, expert social engineer. Blizzard, 7 years of Blizzard coder, 7 years of Blizzard coding experience. Where's the game? Where's the money? Then on September 21st of 2021, Thor said he lost 9 months of development time due to COVID. I don't know what, bro does it from behind his computer screen. I don't know if he had to stay 6 feet of distance away from his computer because he got COVID AIDS on it. I don't know what that is supposed to mean. And then on September 29th, 2021, he said he contracted COVID in early 2020 and lost nearly a year of development time and recovery. I don't know if bro has a fucking autoimmune deficiency syndrome, but he lost a year of development because he contracted COVID. Man, at that time, that really was the classic excuse when you literally had an excuse for nothing. Like, it was COVID. COVID done did it. Then all the way in October of 2023, this is October 21st of 2023. Remember, back in 2016, they backed this game for a December 2017 full release date. And then we're all the way up in October 21st, 2023. And then he says he's planning to release Chapter 3 of Heartbound on December 24th, 2023. Unbelievable. Then December came, and he said it was still being actively developed. So, I mean, it's very clear that he intended to milk this for as long as possible. He had no intentions of getting the game out on this release date. And people have compared his coding, okay, Mr. Insane Hacker Blizzard 7 years coder, to Yandere Dev's coding. And Yandere Dev's coding actually looks better, which is unfathomable. And he uses this experience developing this game as some sort of point of authority when he's talking about game development in the game industry. It's just clearly deceptive. It's all a persona. None of it is real. It is all smoke and mirrors with him. And I've covered in my other videos the kinds of things he does with that image that he's built up. And just as another point of evidence for the fact that that COVID claim was absolute bullshit, in 2023 he got another round of COVID, but this time his recovery was only 20 days.
So yeah, it's kind of a short one. I'm sorry I didn't get more stuff done, but that was a hell of a thing. That's the second time I've gotten COVID. The first time took 9 months to recover. This one took probably about, I think it was in total about 20 days. So thankfully I'm back on it, and I'm back to working on stuff. So I'm sorry that there's no update, but I will see you guys all later.
So the idea that he lost a year of development due to COVID, and then the next time it was only 20 days is hilarious. But I mean, I don't think I can say any more on this. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious that, one, his entire persona, his entire identity, his entire experience, work background, history is all a facade. This facade is carefully built up to distance himself from his past and some of the horrible things he's done, some of the relationships he's torched, the communities he's been ousted from, and he will build up a fiercely loyal fan base and use them to defend and attack people. And he has no problem silencing criticism by abusing DMCA and report functionality. Unless something absolutely major comes to light, this will be my last video on him. But I'm open to ideas of what else you guys think I should cover. With all that being said, peace out, boys.
If you're dead or alive, how you feeling when you're there? All the exist. Think about murder gives me conniptions. Dick, nick at night. Creepy, crawly, creeping around your back door. Stab you once, stab you once. Can't wait to stab you some more. The mask makes me feel